This episode of the School of Life podcast is brought to you by the School of Life Academy, an online platform providing millennials with the tools and resources needed to survive adulthood. From understanding stocks to building a business, writing the perfect resume, and even healing your childhood trauma, SOLA has you covered. Start your 7-day free trial today at www.schooloflifeacademy.com.
Wow,
another day, another dollar. I'm saving just to be broke. They said college was serious, but my degree feel like a joke. 4 years or less, I'm saying I got it done. No plan, just to end up at my mom's after I told her I wasn't staying. Well, here we are. No question, I'm a star. Just got some light years to travel, but it's just so far. But I'ma make it though. Make sure you get your focus right. You coming too? It's about to be one hell of a ride. Yeah, this adults and stuff is crazy. They ain't warned us about this. I'm supposed to live my best life on an unpaid internship. How I'm supposed to find my husband? Everybody running game. I guess the more things change, the more they stay the same. Went from worrying about on flow to running from Uncle Sam. Now I understand why student accounts never gave a damn. Saving accounts be slipping, trying to work out, but I'm tripping. I forgot health insurance. Oh, I'm my mom's until I'm 26, so I gotta pay these student loans. That's adults with the score doing the most. That's adults moving out of mom's house. That's adulting, but it's all gonna work out. That's adulting. I need a legal side hustle. That's adulting, cause these bills got me in trouble. That's adulting. Journey's course is never planned. That's adulting. Just leave it in God's hands, cause that's adulting.
Hey friends, welcome to season 3 of the School of Life podcast. Wow. I cannot believe that it has been literal months since I have been in a studio to record a show for you all. But listen, your girl is back. I know a lot of time has passed and we have missed each other, but I'm back. I'm better and I am here to stay, hopefully. Now listen, y'all, we have so much to catch up on. I have been getting my life together still. Y'all know I was getting it together in 2020, but I'm still gathering it in 2021. What I will say though is that it is more together now, and I am thriving in more areas, and I'm super excited to share more of me and to show up transparently and to continue to pour into you through this podcast. But before I get into me and what's been up in my world, how are you? This podcast exists for you. So I want to know, are you minding your own adulting business? Are you sleeping enough? Are you eating 3 meals a day? Are you tending to your mental health? All of the above? None of the above? Where are you on the okay meter? Look, wherever you are on your journey, I think the most important question is, are you okay? You know, one thing I've learned while on my mini sabbatical, as I'm calling it, is that I can't do anything or be well if I'm not okay. So how about we forget the first couple of questions I asked? The most important one is, are you okay? I think sometimes in the chaos of life, we forget to pause to really take inventory of our level of okayness. And no, that may not be a word, but we're going to add it to the School of Life dictionary. Listen, if you are great, then I am happy to hear that. Yes, you know, I'm always cheering for you. I see you and I'm proud of you. But if you aren't, just know it's going to be okay. Take things one day at a time, one step at a time, literally one thing at a time. And only you know what can help you in this moment. So I pray that whatever it is, you're able to get there. Look, I know the feeling of not being okay. I've talked about it on the podcast numerous times, but I remind myself that it's going to be okay. Point blank, period. And believe me, that's exactly what I had to do these last few months. Listen, y'all, I'm going to have to take 2 episodes to get y'all up to speed because I don't even know where to begin with my okayness in my life. But for the sake of time, here's the Cliff Notes version. Okay, y'all ready? Get your little notebook out so you can keep up with my crazy life. So boom, I moved. There's a whole testimony in that story, but we just gonna come back to that another day. But I moved, I'm settled, that's going great. I started a new job that I love. I don't know if you guys remember the crazy story of me losing my job in Georgia. we can recap that another day too. But I love my job. I'm doing great work. And so yeah, shout out to my team there. Y'all, I had a man, but then I had to break up with said man, and that's also another story. And aside from that, I have grown my business in ways I never imagined. And I finally launched the School of Life Academy. Shameless plug. I know you heard it at the beginning of the episode, but check it out at www.schooloflifeacademy.com. I think the most important thing, though, is that I'm here. So I have cried a lot. I've, laughed a lot. I've drunk a lot of wine. I've went out a lot. Like, there has been a lot going on since we last had time to catch up. But the most important thing is that I'm here. And while I was away, I definitely learned the beauty in simply being here. And I even take it a step further in just being. So I'm learning to celebrate that, and I'm going to encourage you to celebrate just being as well. Aside from the many lessons that I feel I've learned since we last had time to catch up in October, I found a new peace in trusting the process, y'all. And while I've always trusted God, and I've talked about that on the podcast, I didn't always trust the process. Child, listen, when you go through a process, you'll learn to trust it, all right? But now I feel like I get it. Like, I really get it. Honestly, trusting the process is the foundation of today's episode. While I was planning for this season, it was literally so loud and evident that we're all in our own process of some sort. And right now, with the state of the world, some of us don't know if we're coming or going. We don't know if Jesus is coming, if he's going. Like, Jesus, what is going on? We're constantly asking ourselves that. At least I know I am. But I want to remind you that when you hold on and just trust the process, you will be all right and it will work out. Now, don't ask me when or how. I just know that it will. Can I get an amen in the back? Okay. Now, before I start preaching and teaching, because y'all know I love to get into it, you know the drill. Grab your notebook or your tablet because School of Life is in session. So let's cut to the chase. Life is hard right about now, right? Like, what is literally going on? If anybody out there has an answer, please phone a friend, DM me, let me know, what is it? Look, if you're feeling that way, I get it. I promise I do. By the way, before I hop into it, I want to be clear that just because I can laugh a little and share my truths with the world so candidly, that doesn't mean that I'm not hurting or experiencing the woes of life just like you are. I've just learned how to do my life sentence and not let life do me, okay? So let the record show that. With that though, yes, life is hard. I get it. I'm there with you. I'm literally in the trenches with you. We have acknowledged the hardness of life. But you know what's harder? Do you want to know what's harder? Death. Yeah, I know you didn't see that coming, so let me elaborate. Death is hard because it's final. It's the end, you don't get a do-over, and there isn't another take in your movie. Like, the curtains are closed, the director has called scene, and the credits are rolling. And when it's your time, what are your credits going to say? We want them to say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant," right? But let me be brutally honest with you, and this one may hurt, so I'm asking for forgiveness in advance. But the way some of us, me included, do life sometimes, the way we give up, the way we just say F it, the way we carry our weights, we're already ruining our credits. Yeah, I said it. We're ruining our life's credits. Look, when God breathed life in you, he already equipped you and prepared you for every minor inconvenience you'd face and every mountain you'd climb. He did it. Like, it's literally done. But let me tell you where we go wrong. And this is simple. We forget, oh, how we forget, that he's the author. And sometimes we get off course, off track, out of alignment, all of that. Like, we're just out there stuck trying to do it ourselves until we start crying out for help to God. And let's be honest, we do. And he's like, look, if you just sit down, shut up, and listen, you'll be just fine. But do we sit down, shut up, or listen? Absolutely not. Well, you know what? I'm going to take that back. Not all of the time. At At least not immediately, right? Let's be real. Sometimes it's just hitting the fan so fast, so ugly, and so messy that we literally say F it and go take a nap. Like, I'm going to speak for myself. I go take a nap. I don't know if you go take a nap, but I be like, F it, I'm going to sleep because Jesus, I don't know what you're doing. And at this point, I don't even care. Like, well, just wake me up when you're ready to give me a solution. But seriously, it gets that ugly. And in those moments, we sometimes forget the source of our being. We forget the source of our strength. We forget what our first response should be. And because of that, we literally stop trusting the process. Now, I'm not sure what your process is right now, but we're all in one, like I mentioned. So maybe you're waiting for a new job. Maybe you're trying to start a family. Maybe you're trying to rebuild your family. Maybe you're waiting for your man or your woman. Hello, soulmate, if you out there. Maybe you're grieving, experiencing growing pains. I mean, there are literally so many things you could be going through in your life, but it's all a process. And somehow, some way, with a piece of strength, we have to learn what trusting the process looks like for us. And since we're all committed to growing and learning here at the School of Life, I had to consult with the dictionary to make sure I wasn't tripping, right? So y'all know me, I'm like a baby scholar at heart. But I looked up the word trust because, sometimes you got to get back to the basics. So I went to good old faithful Google. Google is good and faithful. And trust in its verb form means to believe in the reliability, truth, agility, or strength of. Similar definitions included to have faith in. Boom. So we got trust, right? Then I also looked up process because that's the one that be tripping us up sometimes, not even gonna lie. None of us likes the process. Again, old faithful Google defines process in its noun form as a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. So in short, trust in the process means we have to have faith in a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. Now, I know it sounds so simple. Child, believe me, if it was easy, I wouldn't even be talking about it on this here podcast. Because it's not simple. It sounds simple, but it's not. But I figured I'd share some practical ways that we can learn to trust the process. Now, disclaimer out there, and I probably have gave this disclaimer on previous episodes, but if you're new around here, I am not a preacher, okay? You will soon learn that I just share from my own life experiences in the hopes of inspiring others, and that's it, and that's all. Okay, so trusting the process. What does that look like? To me, Jacqueline Washington, trusting the process looks like three things. And these three things continue to help me trust the process even now in my own times of trouble. Like, I want to be very clear and reiterate that just like you got ish you trying to work through, me too. I don't even know how I found the strength to get on the podcast and talk about it, but we're here and we're doing it. But these things I'm getting ready to share have truly helped me just unpack what trusting the process means and build my faith. So, remember I told you to get your pen or your tablet out because you're going to need it. Number 1, remembering God's track record. Now, I know it's easy for people to say to look at what God did in biblical times as proof of his character and read the Bible stories and all of that wonderful stuff. And yes, you should do that. But I like to take it a step further and say, look at what he's done in your times, in your actual life. When I start getting cray-cray with God, he's like, but didn't I do X, Y, Z? Weren't you fed back when you had negative dollars in that account? Then gas get put in the cart, then you get that job. And I'm like, you know what? You did. You got it. I see you. Remember, the righteous are never forsaken. So when you are questioning what your process is, take inventory of God in your life. Like literally make a list if you have to. And I promise you, the more you start writing, the more you'll see that he's been with you in every single process that you've already come out on the other side of. So why would this one be any different, right? So remember, 1, remember God's track record. Number 2, sit down, shut up, and listen. The title of this episode. Now, I know that sounds harsh, but y'all, it's the truth. Sometimes you really have to park it, meaning stop whatever you're doing. For me, that's always personal projects, business ventures, traveling, etc. Y'all know your girl be doing a lot. But literally all of it. stop. No distractions. Your attention needs to be focused on God so that he can actually get through to you. Not gonna lie, y'all. Mostly all of my life, I've been like this hustler, overachiever type situation. And I'm always like thinking about the next or always on go, always about my coin. But God be like, ma'am, can you sit down and just read a book in this season? Or can you sit down and donate in this season? Like, can you actually just sit down and listen in this season? And literally, it's that simple sometimes, like following that instruction to sit down, shut up, and listen. Look, when we're on our hamster wheel doing our own thing and chasing the next, God can't get to us because we're so busy focusing on what we want. But when we get in alignment with him and literally sit down and listen to him, he can speak to us and it can be so clear. So be sure you're listening. And the best way to do that is to get in a position where you can hear him. So 2, sit down, shut up, and listen. And lastly, number 3, prayer. Y'all, I know it sounds like an old broken cliche record. I get it. But look, some stuff is what it is, and prayer is one of them. I don't think there's an elaboration needed here, but I'll say this. In your process, prayer should be your first response, not your last resort, right? Period. Like, point blank on that one. I also want to add, though, for my friends who may not know how to pray or you're new to the faith and not sure where to start, simply saying something like, God, I acknowledge you as the leader of my life. Help me. That's a sufficient prayer. You don't have to pray like preachers you see on YouTube or Instagram. You don't even have to pray like your friends. Pray like you. Just have a conversation. Like, my prayers be so real. When I'm frustrated, I be like, look, God, I really don't know what you're doing up there, but send help. Like, yesterday. And it's that simple. And I know it's like sounding jokey, but I'm dead serious. That's how I pray. Like, God, I don't know what you're doing, but I need help like right now. And somehow, some way, he always sends an SOS, ram in the bush to come bail me out of whatever it is. So I'll do a quick recap. In trusting the process, my 3 things: remembering God's track record, boom. Sitting down, shutting up, and listening, that's important. And lastly, prayer. Look, my hope is that in sharing my 3 practices, you can start to trust God more in your own process. I know it's not easy, y'all. Like, nothing about this life is easy. Like, Jesus, where you at, homie? Because it's hard out here for a pimp. It's hard out here for an adult, for real. But listen, you're going to get on the other side. Like, you're going to be rewarded for everything you're going through. Child, look, when I share my testimony with the world, everybody gonna need to be revived, okay? Because half the stuff I have went through and come out on the other side of, it be unbelievable. But God is faithful, and I love sharing parts of me with the world, as a testament to that faithfulness, because I truly don't look like what I've been through, just like many of you don't look like what you've been through. And no matter what your process looks like, I will bet you $1,000 right here on this here podcast. I bet you $1,000 that it works out for your good. If I'm wrong, send me a DM. I'll send you your money. Anyways, I hope I didn't make today's episode too heavy, but hey, we're here to evolve as adults, and that is why this podcast even exists. Before we get out of here, y'all know you're going to have some homework. Y'all like my vocals? I've been working on them because I don't know if I ever told y'all I wanted to be a singer when I was little. So if you hear me singing sometimes, I'm just practicing. Anyways, this week, your homework is super simple. Like, super simple. Probably the simplest homework I've ever given y'all. Define what trusting the process looks like for you. For me, it's remembering God's track record, sitting my butt down, shutting up and listening, and praying. Yours might be similar. You can still mine if you need to, like sharing is caring, but it also might be different, and that is okay. Whatever it is, write it down, define it, put it in your notes app on your phone, put it in a notebook, put it on a sticky note or on the refrigerator, like whatever you have to do, write it down on something, in something, so that you can clearly see what you need to do when you're in that process. All right, friends, that wraps up another fabulous episode of the School of Life podcast. Today's episode was real and necessary, and I am so happy to be back on the mic sharing life with you. Like, you guys don't understand. I truly enjoy doing this. It revives me. It just does what it needs to do. It's giving what it gives, okay? Remember to check out the School of Life Academy at schooloflifeacademy.com and follow us on Instagram at the School of Life Academy. Lastly, be sure you're following me, your best friend, Miss Jaye at _MISSJAYE. I'll also be sure to tag that in the show notes so that you can easily click the link and go follow the pages. As always, I hope you learned something new or gain some kind of insight, because that is why this podcast literally exists. Listen, we're all in this together. Keep fighting, keep pushing, keep evolving. Talk to you soon.
I gotta pay these student loans. That's adults with the score doing the most. That's adulting. Moving out of mom's house. That's adulting. But it's all gonna work out. That's adulting. I need a legal side hustle. That's adulting. 'Cause these bills got me in trouble.